All right, everybody, this is an extremely important video that I'm about to share with you. This is something you should share with everyone in the fitness industry, period. Just getting started, long-term vet, they need to hear the story. So the journey of fitness is not strictly about lifestyle, dieting, training. Your body and how it's going to respond to its environment of higher stress, lower caloric environments, how it pans out over the long term is going to dictate a lot on how your body functions and your genetics. And we're learning more about this every day. Sure, you can take research, look at just training and muscle development, two variables to track their relationships. And you can do that for 12 weeks. But what's happening to other functions around it that at 14 weeks, 6 months, 1 year, what is that same behavior we looked at 12 weeks going to do in the long term? And with all the crazy fitness concepts that we have now, some of them are great, don't get me wrong. But with all of them that we have today, how do they affect our thyroid function? How do they affect our hormones? How do they affect our adrenal glands? What impact does it have on our metabolism? These are questions that we need to ask ourselves, because more often than not, people that train a certain way, they stay stuck in that pattern. And when they stay stuck in that pattern, your body is going to adapt to that pattern. And based on your genetics and your function and your lifestyle, that is going to change things about you that you may not have been aware of when you got started. I would guarantee you, if you polled 100% of bodybuilding competitors and they knew certain things going into it, they would have been a more aware, more educated starting. They would have done things differently to prevent some of the side effects from some of the things they chose to do. That goes for anyone that trains a lot. People go in with a mindset that I'm going to change this one thing about myself. I need my weight down. I need it down. I don't care what I do. I don't care. I'll join any program. I'll sign up for anything that the person looks good selling it. Doesn't matter what it is. And they get their weight all the way down there. But what did they sacrifice? What happened? Majority of them change their sex hormones. They change how their thyroid function. They change how their metabolism works in many ways because of the amount of muscle loss versus fat loss. And we don't realize, we take that for granted because we want something, but what's that going to mean when you're 25, 35, 45, 55? What are the consequences that are going to come from that? We don't understand that this stuff is very real. And so I want to talk about training in terms of how it impacts hormones. Diet as it impacts hormones. Lifestyle as it impacts hormones. Stress, your day-to-day stress as it impacts hormones. The fitness community today is not like the old bodybuilding community of old. People today are so stressed out. Facebook raises cortisol, or social media raises cortisol. Staying up too late, eating processed foods, the lifestyle we live, how packed in like sardines we are in cities, or how more populated we're getting, the number of responsibilities Americans take on, the number of hours worked, stress in America is rising. Okay, that has a huge impact and is an important concept to understand that when you add a physical stressor, I don't care if you think it de-stresses you, because it doesn't. It might bottom out your cortisol when you're done working out so you feel good. But when you train a lot, when you train at least 4 days a week, and you've got modern day first world stress on you, those are collaborative. They don't cancel each other out. They magnify each other. They're exponential to one another. And it wasn't like that when I got started, and even before that. People that were into fitness relaxed, chilled out. They don't do a lot. They stick to their training. They eat, they sleep, they do all the things you're supposed to do. That is not the average American signing up for the 10-week weight loss program down at the local LA Fitness. These people buying all these programs, they're looking at people who live a life that tend to be more solitary. They stick to their program, and that's all they do. And they apply it to their crazy lifestyle of working 70 hours a week, of having 5 kids, getting into all their soccer practices, taking fat burners when they feel like they're fat, but then starving themselves, or then on the weekends eating way too much because they're too stressed out, and that's how they cope. You might be asking me, Vince, why are you talking about all this and you said you were going to talk about hormones? because it all ties together. Fitness principles and the way that you push yourself in fitness, if you want to change your body, has strict rules around it so you don't hurt yourself. And that's totally missed in the sales-driven world we have today. And it creates hormonal imbalance. If you take Cindy Lou who works 60 hours a week, has 2 kids, wants to cure world hunger, and then at the same time thinks that she can go ahead and bottom out her calories and drive her body into the ground, she is going to whack her hormones out so bad and then wonder what's wrong with her, and then look at her coach like, what's going on with me? And then go to the doctor, and the doctor thinks she's sick because of what's going on. And the reality is what's happening here is we're doing way too much. We're looking at Instagram influencers and the great bodies they have. Those people, they sleep all the time. They eat all the time. They're not going out doing everything. They're not partying every night. They're not drinking alcohol. You try to train like they do and do everything you do, you're going to have hormone imbalance. And that's 90% of Americans. Athletes don't get to do things. They have to keep their ass at home because their bodies are taxed from everything they were doing. And these programs being sold today, I'm looking at them, they're treating you like a professional athlete. Not a house mom of 4 that has a million other things on their plate. Something's got to give. And it gives in your hormones. We see it every time. If you live a modern American lifestyle and you train and do cardio and calorically restrict, your hormones are going to go out of whack. Every single one of you. Every cyclist, every runner, every bodybuilder, every CrossFitter, every power lifter, anyone who trains probably 5-6 days a week. Guarantee you, run your hormones. They're going to be low. We do it every day here. They're going to be low. And when you are, how you deal with it is going to dictate what happens the rest of your life in your fitness and your health, fitness life and your health long term. So these are the things that we have to deal with. So here's the deal. Whether you're somebody that's new to the sport or just fitness in general, or introduced to any sport in your early 20s, or you're someone that's been around for a long time. Before you engage in a long-term aggressive training program, you need to know the status of your hormones. And then you need to track it over the years. Because based on your genetics and your function, you're going to have an affinity for your body to do something. So when a body is put under stress, say, let's take women, for example. When a body is put under stress for too long, all right, they're either going to go androgen or estrogen dominant, one of the two, okay? If they have PCOS, they're going to go testosterone or androgen dominant, and it's going to cause problems. That's why the fitness industry can hurt people. I don't want to get into this. That's an offshoot topic, but you have an affinity. And so knowing what your affinity is, what's going to happen to you, can help you block the negative effects on your hormones that are going to happen from long-term training programs and living an American lifestyle. And it's something that you need to do now, because by the time you're 30, when your body's not where you want it, when you don't feel the way that you think you should feel, you've avoided that, okay? Because it's going to come. I'm positive. So for women, they're going to go androgen or estrogen dominant. Most endomorphic bigger bone women are going to tend to go estrogen dominant. That means when they start a lot of health programs, and they're going to be in it for a long time, they need to take things that promote testosterone, keep estrogen cleared out of the system, and help keep progesterone at a good level. Those are things that they need to do. If people tend to have an affinity for androgen dominance, there can be a lot of things you got to do. You got to be careful. You don't ever want to take DHEA. A lot of fitness coaches give DHEA. You don't want to take it, or it's going to make more androgens, cause cystic acne. You're going to get swollen. You're going to get metabolic resistance. You can cause other autoimmune disease, believe it or not, like Hashimoto's. That's a big one. So you need to know which way you go in order to prevent the side effects that come from long-term fitness lifestyle and high stress. And you're going to want to know that. Now, this does not describe everyone. Some people will lose all their hormones when they train too much. Runners are big on that. It happens a lot.